Greetings, you sexy sons and daughters of bitches. I'm Dante Osonio. This is another little check-in on the business life. So I think the last one I did, let's see, would be the first sunrise run. So that was about a week before summer started, just getting into finals week. That was technically my second one. But that was a huge step in getting out of that rut that I was talking about being in the third episode. I think the next video is going to go more into depth on how to get out of a rut, how to deal with ruts, how to move from kind of being in that state where you're like, man, everything sucks. I can't even imagine like getting up early and going to work out and then doing like a full day of work and then going to bed and not like craving dopamine throughout the day and not like eating junk food and not like watching TV and not doing all of that. There's a very slow process that you got to go through, and you can get out of that kind of state and then use pretty much the same process to build off of kind of getting your shit together. Ruts are inevitable. They're going to happen in life. You want to minimize them, but when you find yourself in a rut, it's great to have a strategy to get out. So check out that next video when it comes out, and I'll go more into depth on that. So I was just looking at the calendar. I'm honestly shocked at how fast I got out of that rut. I feel like when you're in a rut, it feels like it's going to take forever before you're kind of back in the rhythm of things. You're able to get up early. You're able to do all of that. Honestly, the rut started, it lasted about 3 weeks. On that fourth week, I kind of started going, okay, I got to get it together. I'm just not operating even close to my best. And so I kind of created the strategy that I'll talk about later. Actually, I created that years ago. I just kind of sat down and went, okay, let's get hydrated. Let's do this. Let's do that. Take it one day at a time. And after about, I say 3 weeks of doing that, I got to a place where I was actually getting up early, going on sunrise runs. It was starting to feel effortless. I was starting to feel more energy on a daily basis. It was really shocking at how fast that happened. And then by week 4, I was starting to get to a point where I was getting, 8 hours straight of work done without looking at my phone, with just powering through and accomplishing ridiculous amounts of work in the span of a day, and being able to stay focused. So that was fantastic. But yeah, so we're here now. I'm back in Monterey. I'm hanging out with, this is where I lived over quarantine. This was my garden. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a pretty sexy garden, if I do say so myself. My cat Maya should be around here somewhere. She used to, while I was living here, she would come out here and hunt gophers and moles and birds and rabbits, which was kind of sad because I like the rabbits. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. And I just want to do a quick check-in, talk about we're out of the rut and we're moving forward. So I've got a couple of things. It's 2 weeks into summer right now. I've got a couple of things from the first 2 weeks. The first one was about 2 days into summer. I went to this, what was called the Aspire Convention. Jeez. So I got a couple of videos from that day. I'll throw that in here, and then I'm going to give you a couple of my key takeaways from the speakers that I listened to there. Basically, it was just like a business self-development oriented conference where you show up, they got a bunch of speakers, you talk to some people, you get to know a couple people. It's a good time. So here are those guys. So I recorded these videos like 2 weeks ago. Right now I'm balls deep in construction work, hence the disheveledness. But I'm editing them right now. I don't know if you can see that. Getting my editing done. I'm about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks behind. And basically, yeah, I took everything that I talked about at the conference, put that into a separate video. I just uploaded that. Go check that out if you want to see it. And then this next clip that I'm going to show you is just like, I don't know, this was from about 3 weeks ago, where I was still back in Boulder, and I was there just for a weekend, and I wanted to go out. I wanted to hang out with friends, and I was I didn't. I stayed home and I did work, and I was hella depressed about it, and I had some internal thoughts, and I put them on video, and I thought I'd show you them. And then after that, 2 weeks ago, I recorded my thoughts on that, and then now I'm editing it all together. Howdy, people. Just making a quick video because I'm in a very kind of, I guess, conflicted state right now. Or I guess the conflicted state is over. Basically, I've just been traveling back and forth from Monterey and Colorado a lot lately, and I just flew into Monterey, or to Colorado, a couple of hours ago. Very tired, absolutely exhausted. But a bunch of my friends went to a country bar to go swing dancing, and I love swing dancing, super fun. And it's like about an hour drive away, so I was gonna pick somebody up and go drive out there. Super looking forward to it, really wanted to go. And then basically I just like decided not to go. I was kind of tired. I was like, you know what? Tomorrow morning I want to get up early, go on a sunrise run. I'm literally like coding right now, so I just like decided to stay home, and I'm like working on this freaking Swift UI app. I don't know if you guys can see that. I might have totally screwed that up. But yeah, no, that like kind of sucks. There's this lady I really wanted to see that's going, so I'm like not having that. And I know, you know, whenever you like sit down, it's like everybody tells you like, hey, look, you've got to like cut a lot of stuff out of your life or make a lot of sacrifices if you want to have these victories and these successes. But you know, it also kind of, everybody also says, hey, you know, you got to have some balance in life. And I think like by principle, that's really easy to, you know, it's easier said than done. It's like, hey, you just got to have some balance in life. Sometimes you socialize, sometimes you got to get your work done. And I think especially when you're doing something like online business, it's hard to find that balance, because with like school, it's like, are my assignments done or not? Can I go out tonight and still have time to finish my assignments? Whereas with online business, it's like, I mean, you can just keep on going. And the more you go, the more you compress the time between now and victory. So yeah, but at the same time, it's like having people that are important to you is very important in life, and you got to have those relationships. Man, I hate the lighting in here. So yeah, and then another thing I was thinking about is living with regret, and something I kind of realized when I was trying to decide. I was in this state of like, fuck, like I don't know if I should stay here, get some work done, go to bed early, or like go out, have a good time. I probably wouldn't get back till 3 a.m. So that would be tough for waking up tomorrow morning for a sunrise run. But yeah, you know, it's like something that I've kind of been thinking a lot about recently is this problem of living in regret, and feeling like a lot of times I'll come to a crossroads like that, like stay in and work or go out, invest in my social life. And it's tough because it feels like no matter what I do, I'm gonna regret it. You know, I feel like I could have gone out and I could have been out there and been like, you know, having a good time and stuff. But then tomorrow morning, woken up late, and then maybe started to fall behind and think, holy shit, like, you know, I had that great night out, but like that was a total like waste. Like it threw me off my routines. It was a Friday night, not a Saturday night. Sunday is generally my rest day. And so it's like, if I chose that, there would have been cause for regret. Whereas, you know, I'm staying here and it's like I'm coding, and all I can think about is like, fuck, dude, like, you know, the kind of life that you live when you put your work before everything else, and when you continuously like push away social life, push away friends, push away the people that you care about. And that really sucks. And yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad about like blowing off my friends tonight, especially because I just got back in from being out of town. I'm going to be gone for a while after this. And it's like, you know, I really care about these people and I want to spend time with them. And it's like, why, you know, you're supposed to be like willing to make these sacrifices, but it's like, I don't know, it's tough. It's tough. So yeah, living in regret, I guess it's like a new like thought pattern that I'm trying to develop now is saying, and I've only done this like once, and it came back to the surface tonight, is trying to, whenever I'm in those situations, committing to not caring about the outcomes of either one. But I think what's most important is focusing on the positive of the decision that you make, because you can always, what is it? There's this song by somebody called something, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe, I think it's called Roads Untraveled, and basically one of the lines goes, weep not for roads untraveled. And it's like, look, you know, you never know what would have happened on the other path. You never know like what you're missing out on, but you can always imagine all kinds of stuff that you might have missed out on or that would have been better on the other path. And it's a lot harder to just look at the path that you did choose and choose only to look at the good of that path. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about, you know, trying to strike that balance, how to do that, how to get through that. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. Staying in instead of going out and hanging out with friends. They were great friends, people I really wanted to see, but I actually ended up getting a ton done that day. Hey, what are you doing? That night, I got a ton done. The next morning, I was able to wake up super early. I got on a crazy grind and I powered through and actually ended up reaching a huge milestone that I thought I was going to be at least a week away from. All right, so let's just give this milestone a little look. Basically, right now in Dev Slopes, I'm just finishing week 13, which means I can go on to week 14, where I start to work on my final project, which is the next major step. And so that major milestone essentially means I'm done with that fundamental skill development phase. So if we look at week 13, we can go into my plan here and give it the green fill color. And by doing that, that unlocks the next two steps. So these next steps, I'll go ahead and turn these arrows green. And these next steps are going to be Dev Slopes week 15 and week 14. Week 15 is going to be that exam, and week 14 is going to be the final project. And I can do those in whichever order I want. And what I accomplished last night was I basically got the entire final project for week 13 done in one night, and normally these things take me like a week, so that was huge. Huge. So that felt amazing. And then that night I was actually able to go out because it was Sunday night or Saturday night. Sunday is the rest day. It's okay to sleep in on Sunday, and I got more than enough done to justify the week. So I went out and had a great time that night, and everything worked out pretty well. But regardless, that's still going to be an ongoing battle between social life and good times and prioritizing building an online business and moving towards goals. You can't make so many sacrifices right now that all of your eggs are essentially in one basket, where it's like, all I care about is like achieving this and building this online business and, you know, doing this thing. And then you push all your friends away, you push all of your kind of current life away, but you also can't allow that current life to kind of sneak up and gradually take over so much of your life that you're never actually able to achieve your goals. And then 5, 10, 20 years down the road, you're like, how the hell did I get here and fail to do anything that I set out to do? So it's there are two places you can be at, like 5, 10, well, there are 3 places. 5, 10, well, there are a lot of places, but we're gonna narrow it down to 3. You could be at this place where you're like, shit, I did all of this work to achieve this thing. Now I've achieved this thing and I sacrificed everything that really mattered in life. And, you know, now I'm alone and I'm a fucking loser and I hate my life. And so I have a bunch of money. So what? That's one thing that can happen. And the other thing that can happen is you get there and you're 5, 10, 20 years down the road and you look around and you're like, what the hell happened? I had all these dreams, all these aspirations, all these things that I wanted to do and accomplish, and I did none of it. And I had all these friends, but you know, they came and went. They pursued other goals and they did other things. Or maybe you're still hanging out with them, but it's like, how much did you sacrifice for those friendships? And I mean, what kind of state are you really living in if you're living without purpose? This is something I really learned this year, is that a life without purpose kind of puts you into a state that no externals can justify. And so essentially what happened is I was going through school, but I wasn't going through it with purpose. I was just going through it to pass my classes. And I was going out and had a great social life. I had a lot going on every weekend. I was going on cabin trips, ranch trips. I was going out swing dancing. I was going to parties. It was fantastic. And I was getting by in school. But it felt like something was missing the entire time. And there was kind of just this underlying discomfort that eventually, I think that's a part of what drove me into that rut I got into a little while back. And I kind of started to run from it. And yeah, I think a lot of that came from not being as driven as I could have been and not embracing the goals that I wanted to embrace deep down. And eventually I kind of realized, like, okay, you know what? I'm not attacking life as much as I would like to. I'll get a lot more joy out of life if I'm attacking it. And then when I go out and I socialize and I party, I'm in a much better mental state because I have this sense of purpose outside of that. So I don't know. That's a bunch of shit. A bunch of internal struggles. You know, gotta have some internal struggles along the way. It's no fun without them. But yeah. I got a couple of books read. I'll probably do that as a separate video where I talk about the books that I read. I talk about my favorite ones, the ones that suck. And then next time we'll probably go into the actual progress on the goals themselves, and we'll talk about, next time I'm gonna talk about the rut, and then after that we'll look at the actual progress on the goals and the overall plan for the summer, the books that I'm gonna read, why I'm gonna read them, the purpose that they'll play. So yeah, I'll see you then.